This is episode 162 on the 29th of January 2020.
And you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with
Automation, job security, work product become a nightmare for the millennial generation to such an extent that 98% Indians want to experiment with automation to reduce workload. Manually entering data, managing email traffic, organizing digital documents in various folders, and invoice management are some of the tasks which hamper productivity. Then the question comes, why take work as work? Why not take any kind of work that an individual does as something they can enjoy? Why be nervous about frivolous things like job security? See automation as an hamper to one's job security. Despite automation making its presence felt over the past decade and changes in the definition of the ideal work day hours should be, a few things have remained the same. The first being individuals' stress about the job they do, even if 30 years ago they were doing it on paper, and in the contemporary times individuals do the same job on the computer and other digital devices. Reaching the workplace on time and finishing the work, that is also one thing that has not changed since the industrial revolution, because we see ourselves as robots, as individuals who need to produce good work. As work productivity becomes the norm, automation won't remove the psychosis we have around the definition of what a perfect work day should be. Completing projects, completing tasks, making sure that the boss is happy, having a good relationship with the HR department, earning enough so that one can enjoy the life's luxuries. As the saying goes, the more the things change, the more they remain the same. Despite the penetration of automation, if individuals in general do not express happiness at what they do, if the job is not taken as something they enjoy, then all this automation and its influence will remain a nightmare for millennials or the generations before them, be it the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, or Generation Z. I want to ask this question: how do routine administrative tasks like manually entering data, managing email traffic, organizing digital documents in various folders become a headache? I can give my example where such manually administrative and headache tasks are concerned. First, look at organizing digital documents in various folders. I enjoy doing this. I cannot allow automation to take over such an important task. The human, me who has made the folders, who decides which document will go into which folder and how much time does it take to organize such folders and such digital documents. The same with organizing documents on the physical folders. There is a moment of satisfaction when we organize such documents in various folders, and it does not take more than 2 minutes to do it. Whatever task I do not take pressure as far as the task is concerned. If the task is not completed on day 1, I will take it to day 2. Be it producing this talk show, writing an article, organizing the chapters for a book, I do not put pressure on myself to do it in one day itself. As far as this talk show is concerned, this podcast is concerned, I enjoy doing it. I do not take it as work. And the moment one thinks in this manner, no work in the world, no task in the world will be menial or important. No task will be seen as a task which hinders productivity. By the looks of the psyche of the millennials, things haven't changed. If one presumes that automation will change things, it may change things, but only by 2 to 3%. In this context, I want to talk about managing email folders. First, one has to know what kind of folders to make. Only then can you go to the email settings and instruct the settings in the email settings that put this particular email into this folder. But who decides which email goes into what folder? Only the human being can decide. If my emails are automatically sent to certain folders, I still have to open those folders and make it I have read the email. And there is a possibility I may one day decide to change the email settings and which email will be sent into which folder. So these are not menial tasks. Automation is important, but automation can only help. The automation, the artificial intelligence, the machine will not on its own send the email into the folder unless it is instructed, unless we have made the settings as such. The discussion comes back to what is the definition of being productive. Is it about finishing tasks fast? Even if it is about finishing a task fast, there are times when one has to decide. If an individual, for example, has 10 projects to complete, but without setting any deadline, do one project at a time, even if a single project takes about couple of months, so be it. Why should anyone put themselves under any kind of pressure? There is no logic in that. Let's further talk about this idea of artificial intelligence and automation. Take the example of Microsoft Word. This particular software has been in vogue for the past 30 years, has up to some extent made the art of writing a text document easy. Now there are additional features like grammar check or thesaurus. Even in this, grammar check may not be accurate all the time. It can help us up to only 80%. It may talk about a certain word being written incorrectly, but that also depends if it's UK English or US English. It can range from HONOR to HONOUR. As always, the document will not type itself. The human being will have to type the document. The name of the document will also be the prerogative of the human being. The word processing file can only help us up to 80%. 20% of the job has to be done by the human being. Use both the physical and the thesaurus provided by the Word document to look at the words if I can have a better word for a certain word depending on the context and the meaning of the sentence. Automation has its uses, but without human discreteness, this automation is defunct. The same with the Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, one has the option to subtract, add, divide or multiply, but who decides which mathematical function to use? It is the human beings, it is the user, it is the being with the flesh and body who decides which particular function to use. How to organize the Excel sheet? It boils down to a few pertinent things. If individuals do not enjoy the work they do, if everything is taken as a task that has to be completed because the boss and the managers are breathing down your necks, no matter how hard one works, everything will turn into depression. Why are individuals depressed because of work and other tasks? because they take too much of pressure on themselves. This sudden craze to have a deadline for everything is not the way it works. Deadline can help so that one is focused, but the deadline cannot allow an individual to become sad and depressed and lonely. One needs to be worried about whether one needs to comply with the 8-hour work days or one needs to work 10 hours a day. Work is planned in such a day that I eventually work only 2 hours a day. What do I do for the rest of the day? I read newspapers, magazines, I gain knowledge and I gain ideas for the next episode. And yet, when I am reading these magazine, newspapers, books, I do not see it as a task. I enjoy reading them. I am not worried whether my next episode will be produced with the best of my abilities. I know that I can do it. I don't have to fret about the realities and the minor issues that come along with it. 98% of the workforce may see these tasks as monotonous, but I am in the 2% and I do not comply to the traditional or modern definition of what work should be, what an office should be, and what task should one complete. For me, no task is menial, no task is monotonous, and no task is administrative. Listeners must have read various articles on how to clean your mobile phone and email inboxes. First step is transfer photos and videos of your phone. Well, for me, I don't have to worry about this because I hardly have any important videos and photos in my phone. So I don't need to transfer. And even if I do, I just back it up to the cloud. Or I transfer it from my phone to my computer. End of story. Or the best thing is email all the documents and the photos to yourself and then download them and put them in a folder. In apps that one doesn't use. I recently did that. I removed a few apps that I don't need to use on my phone because I use the same apps on my TV. So I don't have any of the online services on my phone. No Hotstar, no Netflix, no Amazon, and no WWE Network because I have these on my computer. And unlike 99% of the millennial generation or any generation which has access to a phone, I do not watch any kind of videos or listen to any music on my phone. Unlike most individuals, my phone battery lasts for an average of 70 hours. How many people can claim that? For me, my phone is used for what the phone should be, texting and calling, and not for watching videos or listening to music. On to the second tip most individuals must have read. Sweep your inbox. This tip includes if your email contains more unread messages than you can handle. This tip is for you. Some call it sweeping the inbox. You move all messages from the inbox to a new folder. I've been doing this task of moving emails to a certain folder for the past 7 to 8 years. For me, this tip is nothing novel. I've been doing this task before even this task became a question or became a question of sweeping and cleaning one's phone or inboxes. That way, my email inbox remains free of unnecessary emails because they have been moved automatically into the respective boxes. Organizing folders on the desktop or organizing folders in the email. I have been proficient at this before this discussion even started. Before individuals started taking such tasks as menial tasks or monotonous tasks. Individuals feel the pressure of doing a task. Pressure is a word that does not exist in my dictionary. If I am handed over a responsibility, I only take that responsibility if I know I can complete it without taking any stress or pressure. Just like pressure, stress does not exist in my dictionary. Why do I produce 3 episodes a week? Well, for me, producing these episodes is not a job, not a work. Producing these episodes, it's part of the fun. Keeps me occupied, yet this occupation does not give me any kind of stress. It gives me the opportunity to exercise the Article 19 freedom of speech and expression enshrined in the Constitution. And the point is, why wait for other individuals? Give you an opportunity to run after other industries like the radio industry, where an opportunity for an individual is as bleak as Rishabh Pant getting a chance in the Indian team. Why not be a Rahul and make sure that I can multitask, be my own boss? How many times does an individual get an opportunity like that? One has to make an opportunity, and through this talk show, I have done exactly that. And yet, despite all this, stress and the pressure felt is nil. Sometimes being an egotist is also important, and I make no bones about this declaration. Cyberbullying and physical bullying. According to a research, cyberbullying amplifies symptoms of depression and post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD in young people. According to a few experts, in some cases it can be far more horrifying than physical bullying. Nobody wants to be bullied, even if these two forms of bullying are real and should be assessed. Pertinent point should be, can bullying be stopped at its initial stage itself? The contemporary world where we encourage young individuals to have access to phones, a plethora of reasons, this form of bullying was always going to take place. But should individuals be affected by this? First task should be not to allow individuals under 18 access to phones. Even if there is a need to give under 18 individuals a phone, they should be given a simple phone, not a smartphone where these youngsters can access multiple apps. Since their intellect is still in the growing stage, the brain is not fully formed to be mature. They often don't understand the use of these apps, and then the access to such a potent device can often backfire. If parents want to monitor their wards, their children, when they send them to tuition centers, why give them a smart phone? Why not give them a simple feature phone which doesn't have too many accessories for the individuals to exploit? Parents, schools, and the general understanding of what a smartphone can do for an individual is the reason such cyberbullying activities happen. Experts may contend that limiting the use of internet and such phones will not reduce cyberbullying. In the hindsight, cyberbullying would not start if in the first place we do not give so much of access to a young individual. This kind of debate is a double-edged sword, because on one place, if we don't give access to the young individuals, they may not be able to keep up with the pace of the times. On the other hand, if they are given all the luxuries at such a young age, when their brain is not fully formed to understand and process it, then cyberbullying can happen. Cyberbullying also has a lot of factors. The world has embraced egoism in such a manner that they see it pertinent to share photos and videos of themselves enjoying. Most individuals see it as some kind of a competition. Share or publish photos on public sharing platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and others. Once again, this kind of sharing is a double-edged sword. Can work both ways. It can be effective if we share photos and feel happy, but the manner in which we share photos, and there are some individuals who do not have access and do not go to such places. When they see such photos, they are influenced. Difficult to assess who is to blame the most. Question now comes, that is, should the use of digital media and digital devices be restricted to reduce the impact of cyberbullying? This question has no concrete answer. Only concrete and pertinent solution is, though it would not be seen as something acceptable by the modern day society, is to distract children and give them books and other accessories to enjoy. Important thing that can be done is to consciously guide them into limiting the use of phone, probably to 2 hours a day or 6 hours a week. And moment this happens, moment this is done unconsciously and subconsciously, individuals who enjoy bullying and remaining anonymous, and the individuals who are subject to